Hey folks, this is Vincent Adeli with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to quickly check out Space Marine 2. Now, it's important to stress this is a first impressions video only. We have not covered the other game modes in the game aside from the campaign. There's operations, which is like a PvE thing. There's PvP as well. We have not touched any of that. My main purpose today is just to quickly give you our first impressions of it and to promote the sale that's going on right now through the link that you can find in the below description. If you order the game or buy it through gamesplanet.com, again, I'll put a link in the below description for you, and use the promo code DADSMarines, you'll get a 15% discount. And this discount is eligible until 12/31/2024. So if you like what you see here, click on the link in the below description, head on over to Games Planet, get the game. But primarily today we want to take a quick look at what the game is like, what's it about, and give our first impressions of it. Because we've been eyeing this game for a while, but the price tag was kind of scary for us. We just can't afford expensive games right now. So we, again, got 2 press keys from Games Planet, and we've been playing it today for about, I want to say 3 or 4 hours. And like I said, there's 3 main modes. There's the campaign, which seems to be very scripted, and then there's operations, which is kind of like a PvE, you just pick a PvE mission and head on out. Or you can play PvP. You can only play with 3 people, however, so if you've played Aliens Fireteam Elite, you'll be very familiar with this process. It's not like Back 4 Blood or Left 4 Dead where there's 4 people. Rather, you've got 3 people. And this is, I want to say, a very melee-heavy game. At least I thought it was. Although you can shoot things as well. You'll be able to pick up different weapons, different melee weapons, different ranged weapons. But the control scheme, in my opinion, takes a whole lot of getting used to. Instinctively, I want to hit right mouse button to aim and left mouse button to shoot. But your melee and your ranged are equipped at the same time. So like left mouse button or whatever is melee, right mouse button is shoot. I rebound all my keys right from the beginning. And I had to do that because some of them didn't make sense to the way I would typically play. But primarily, you're getting from point A to point B while trying to keep you and your squad alive. And you can play with bots if you want to. Idly and I played co-op, and then a third bot kind of filled in that slot. They did okay, but they weren't as good as the 2 of us as far as I could tell. So, Idly, as far as like your first impressions, what do you think of this game so far?
I was very pleasantly surprised by this game. I have my graphics set to the lowest possible setting because this game I feel kind of needs to be a little bit more optimized because it takes forever to load things. But I just updated my graphics driver card, so I'm hoping that it'll work the next time I play. But I was having trouble viewing the cutscenes. But with all that said, even with the lowest setting, the game is so beautiful. It's so well acted as well. The dialogue is pretty great. The controls, like you said, definitely take some getting used to because you have your melee and your gun equipped at the same time, and there's going to be like a whole lot of key binding going on. But I love that it adopted some World War Z mechanics where aliens will just like try to climb up on the cliffs, and like you got mountains of aliens and you have to try and like shoot them all or grenade them all. And I love that there's an abundance of ammo and grenades that are in the environment that you have to loot. And it's a little bit hard to see, but I was kind of surprised for a linear game like this. The amount of consumables or the amount of equipment that you can find is pretty decent.
Yeah, for those of you Warhammer people out there, the 2 of us are by no means experts at the universe, the lore. I know that they're Tyranids because I played the RTS game Warhammer 40K, Dawn of War 2 or whatever it was. So I'm familiar with like the top-down strategic RTS game, but very little do I get into the lore or do I know the races. I have not seen orcs yet. The whole Daka whatever. I have not seen the orcs yet. All we've fought up to this point in the 2 or 3 missions that we've played is all Tyranids. And those, as Idly said, these are like aliens that they come at you en masse. They're kind of like Zerg
Yeah.
from StarCraft.
To just to
Mhm.
show like how ignorant I am with Warhammer, I was expecting like an elf and a little dwarf
Yeah.
like alongside us because the only thing I know of is Warhammer Vermintide 2. So I'm thinking of
Right.
the elf with her bow.
Yeah. Getting back to your point about the whole controls
Yeah.
thing, our
Mhm.
characters don't jump. They
Yeah.
don't really dodge roll. Like you can hit spacebar to dodge. Like if an attack is red, that means you have to dodge it. You can't like parry it. So you have to use the spacebar dodge, whatever it is, to get out of the way.
Mhm.
That's the only time I've ever seen my character like really dodge roll. But there's no jumping. It's like it's just really hard like to get into compared to some other games. Like instinctively, I want to do things I would normally do in other games like this, but I
Mhm.
can't, if that makes any sense. Like
But
this game did take some getting used to.
it definitely does, but I gotta say, it is so satisfying once you pull off a combo finisher or
Hmm.
an execution. It has that feedback and it has like such satisfying melee and gunplay. I like the melee more than the gunplay, but I think there's a very decent amount of ranged in this game. Because you have ranged enemies, you kind of have to kill them with ranged.
Hmm.
And the amount of guns that they have is pretty decent.
Hmm.
Um, and the types too, you get like a plasma charger that I saw so far, and
Hmm.
a carbine, and a few other guns. And I'm really, really excited to see what else the game has to offer because I feel like we haven't even uh, touched the surface of it, you know?
Hmm. My only complaint is that it seems like some of that cosmetic stuff is locked behind DLC.
Yeah.
There's like various editions on the store page. There's like an ultra edition. There's like $60 worth of DLC already. So it's like I just I hate it when games do that. I'm an old school 1980s kid. You know, when I buy a Nintendo game, I expect everything to be on there because there
Hmm.
were no DLCs back in the day. You know, so I'm kind of spoiled by the retro gaming aspect of it. But
Hmm.
I know it's kind of modern in today's age. But I for one really liked this game. I'm still liking it, and again, this is more first impressions than anything. I know that there are classes in this game, but we have not come across them yet. I don't know. Like, we're unlocking things as we do the campaign. We didn't unlock the armory to actually change out our guns pre mission until like after the second mission. So it seems like we're still unlocking things at this point. But I do know that there are classes that you can get in this game, but I've not seen them yet. It seems like the campaign has you just as the basic Joe Schmo Space Marine, Ultramarine, whatever they're called. There's a story behind that, but I'm not very keen on it. But
Hmm.
it's like I feel like I'm a basic Space Marine right now with no special abilities, and I'm assuming that we're going to be unlocking more of that as we play. And once the campaign's over, like I said, there's that operations mode where supposedly it's like infinitely replayable PvE missions that you can play. I don't know too much about that, but I know that they're there. And there's
Hmm.
also 4 different difficulties, I think, that you can play. We play on easy because I find the game is still challenging as is because we're still getting used to the controls and the way the game behaves.
Hmm.
But my first impressions are good aside from the technical hiccups. For example, when I go to invite you, my mouse cursor disappears and I have to use the up and down arrows to select an open slot to invite you. Or maybe the cutscene won't work for you, but it works for me. Those parts are annoying.
Yeah.
But for a $60 game, I expected stuff like that to be kind of ironed out.
Yeah.
But that's just me. So any last thoughts before we call it here?
So far I'm really enjoying it and I'm excited to see to keep playing and see what else the game has to offer. I don't like that we can't buy certain armors at this point, but it's okay. I'm excited to see what else we can unlock.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I'm
yeah.
seriously hoping that there's some kind of like permanent progression, like it, because in Aliens Fireteam Elite, you could level up your characters. There was a Tetris-like upgrade
Hmm.
system. You can unlock things from the store and buy them as you play. I'm hoping something similar happens here. I just don't know if it's in there yet. For me to keep
Hmm.
playing this repeatedly, I would need some kind of permanent progression system.
Mhm.
I mean, I'll still play games like Left 4 Dead, but there's typically no permanent progression there. I'm more akin to Back 4 Blood because there is permanent progression. So I'm
Yeah.
sincerely hoping that this game will have that at some point,
Mhm.
but I guess we'll see. All
Yeah.
right, well, there you go, folks. That was Space Marine 2. First impressions so far are good, aside from some minor hiccups. This is Vincent Adeli. Thanks for watching. We'll catch y'all next time. Take care.
Bye, guys.